What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full slate of college basketball action here for the NCAA Tournament opening round. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under on each game. We're going to cover every college basketball game on the day and on the night. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock. So as a big thank you to me, take that 10th of a second and slam that thumbs up button. It really helps get these videos promoted out there on YouTube. Keeps me motivated to grind out a new video for you guys every single solitary day, and it's just a really, really great way to see things headed in the right direction for the channel. Also, check below and see if you are subscribed to the channel. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers this year. We can see from YouTube analytics that a lot of our viewers are not subscribed, so click that little subscribe button, guys. It's absolutely free, keeps you updated on what's going on with the channel, and keeps you updated whenever we put out a new video. Also, share this video out there with a friend or a colleague or a family member that is interested in sports betting. Let's see if we can help them out as well. Definitely get down there in the comments. Ask me any questions you have about your bracket, about any picks you're looking at today, about any picks you're looking at throughout the NCAA tournament. I'm more than happy to get back to you. And if I don't have a good answer, if you ask me about something like hockey or something I know nothing about, I can reach out to the premium handicappers over there at stumpthespread.com and see what they have to say. Definitely, while you're down there in the comments, check that pinned comment. That's where you'll find my favorite picks every single solitary day. You'll also find a link over to stumpthespread.com. Definitely want to get in on that. There are free picks posted over there every single day under the free picks tab. There are also great premium picks if you're looking to pick up a premium pick package here for the NCAA tournament. And guys, that's where you can get on that free email list. That's been a great value all season long. Also, make sure if you have time before the tip of the first game, get in our bracket challenge there over at stumpthespread.com. There's a link down in the description along with the password to get into that bracket competition. A lot of big prizes, including a cash prize of at least $100, maybe $200 there for first place, going out to whoever wins first place. We're paying the top 4 places, and it's definitely going to be a whole lot of fun. Me, the premium handicappers, everybody involved with Stump the Spread, going to be in the mix over there in that bracket competition. So definitely get in on that. In terms of recap, we don't actually have any games finished right now at time of recording, so we'll see how things work out. The Pelicans are up big. That's nice. Navy bringing it down to the wire. They're getting those 12.5 points. We'll see if they can make it happen. We'll just, got to wait and see on a lot of these games. Unfortunately, Brooklyn Nets not looking too good, so we'll see. We'll see how things work out. Now, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're getting over there to stumpthespread.com. Check out all the great stuff over there and get in on our bracket competition. And let's get after it. Our first game of the day, we've got an 11:15 a.m. Central Standard Time tip between the number 9 TCU Horned Frogs and the number 8 Ohio State Buckeyes. TCU comes into this game playing relatively well. They had won 6 straight games before getting bounced there from the conference tournament in a 78-73 loss against Kansas, taking down Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, that big win at Texas Tech. A lot of things pointing in the right direction for this team over the course of the season. We've loved what we've seen from David Punch. Brock Harding's been a very solid point guard. This team is very, very reasonable defensively. The offense has tended to come and go, and they're not necessarily a dominant team on the glass, but they have put together some pretty good efforts. They've come with some big upset wins, like taking down Iowa State, pushing teams like BYU, Kansas, Arizona, making some real games against some real teams. They also knocked off Florida early in the season. So a lot to like about TCU, but a similar amount of stuff to like here about the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State 12-8 in the Big Ten, 21-12 overall. They got bounced out of their conference tournament by Michigan in a very close game that could have honestly went either way. They knocked off Iowa, they knocked off Indiana, they knocked off Penn State, but before that they got a nice win over Purdue. So some big wins for this team as well. Very, very solid team. Bruce Thornton figures to be one of the best players on the floor in any game he's in. 20 points per game, 56% from the field, and 4 assists. The problem for Ohio State is they're not great on the glass. They're a decent defensive team, but their offense is really where they tend to shine. So we'll see if that's enough for them to come out on top in this one. The Buckeyes are 2.5-point favorites. We've got a total in this one of 145.5. TCU finished the season 18-15 against the spread, 18-15 to the under. Ohio State 17-15-1 against the spread, 17-16 to the under. This game is being played in South Carolina, so maybe a little bit pretty close to equidistant away from home for both of these teams. I'm going to be leaning just slightly here towards the TCU Horned Frogs getting that free bucket. I think there's going to be a very, very close game. I think it's going to go right down to the wire. Will that 2.5 points come into play? It's not impossible. I think TCU has what it takes to give Ohio State a really tough time in this one. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Troy Trojans taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Troy, 22-11. They finished atop the Sun Belt there, and they won the Sun Belt tournament, taking care of, a pretty easy schedule, if we're being honest, there in their conference tournament. In In terms of non-conference games, they lost to USC. They beat San Diego State, so I guess that's something, but not exactly a squad that scored a ton of huge upsets throughout the season. This team does not have really a monster leading scorer, but their rebounding numbers over the course of the season are solid. Their offense numbers are pretty good. They're in the top 90 in the nation, and their defense, while not necessarily in the elite category, is pretty good. So we'll see what they can do here against the number 15 Nebraska Cornhuskers. They're obviously a 4 seed here in the NCAA tournament. They finished the year 15-5 in the Big Ten, so the second best record there behind Michigan. They got bounced out of the conference tournament in a really bad showing for them, losing to Purdue 74-58. They also lost to UCLA down the stretch, so they've not maybe not going into the tournament playing their best ball of the season, but they've obviously done some good stuff. Price Sandfort's had a great season. This is a dominant defensive team. Offensively, they can have some off nights. The rebounding numbers have not been off the charts. We'll see what they can do in a game that obviously looks like a bit of a mismatch. That's what you expect in a 13 versus 4 game. Nebraska, they're 13-point favorites here. We've got a total of 137.5. Troy, 17-14 against the spread, 15-14-2 to the under. Nebraska, 17-14-1 against the spread, 22-10 to the under. Guys, I think this is a very, very reasonable spot to back under in this game, under 137.5. I know it's not a very big number, but I just don't see a crazy amount of offense coming from these two teams, especially not in this specific matchup. In terms of a side, I'm going to lean just slightly towards Troy getting 13 points. If it's an under game, taking the underdog definitely makes some sense, especially when they're a double-digit underdog, but I think the better play in this game is that under. Next on the docket, we got the number 11 South Florida Bulls going on the road to take on the number 6 Louisville Cardinals. I'm going to say going on the road a bunch of times, guys. That is not what I mean. Obviously, these are neutral court games. This one is going to be played in Buffalo, New York. Pretty out of context for both of these teams. I think USF and Louisville both used to some warmer weather. The Bulls had a great year out there in the American, 15-3 in conference play. They won their conference tournament as well, smacking Wichita State 70-55. This team played some real opponents there in their non-conference, losing to Oklahoma State, maybe not the best look there, but beating Utah State, giving Alabama a real run for their money. They put together some good games for sure, and this team has put together some good stuff all year long. They're a dominant level rebounding team. They're in the top 10 in the nation in raw scoring. The defense, maybe not incredible, but when you play this kind of pace, there is definitely some, legitimate reason why your defensive numbers might not look that elite, even if you are pretty good there on defense. They're going on the road, or not they're going on the road. They're taking on the Louisville Cardinals, who are 23-10 on the season. They're a 6 seed. They finished 11-7 out there in the ACC. They got knocked out of their conference tournament by Miami. A little bit of a tough loss there. They also played a very close game against SMU, so I'm not going to say the Cardinals are playing their best ball right now. Also, they are going to be without Mikel Brown Jr. for the opening weekend here of the NCAA tournament, so I guess there's a chance he can come back if they advance far enough, but that is a big guy for them to be missing. They're 23rd in the nation raw scoring. They are a very reasonable defensive team. Their rebounding numbers are good as well, but this Louisville team definitely struggled on the road in general this season against the spread, so we'll see if this feels like more of a road game for them. I would assume, not going to be a crazy crowd in favor of either team. Louisville, they're 4.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 164.5. South Florida, 18-14 against the spread, 18-14 to the under. Louisville, 16-17 against the spread, 19-14 to the under. I do think under 164.5 is a very good play. That's a very high total. I think we're going to see offense be a bit of a premium. Both teams maybe be a little bit nervous here out of the gates. Maybe take the under in the first half could be reasonable as well. In terms of a side, I definitely like USF and the points in this one. I think they are definitely good enough to give a less than full strength Louisville team a run for their money. I think the Bulls are live on the money line if you're looking for some money line play. So definitely give me South Florida in this one. Hey guys, before we jump back in and cover the rest of this massive college basketball slate here on one of the best college basketball and sports betting days of the year, we got to shout out the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, guys, our premium members are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, and college basketball picks. Obviously, only like 6 or 7 days until opening day of Major League Baseball season, and then MLB will very much be in the mix over there in the premium section. Definitely a great time to jump in. We're going to have a ton of premium picks coming out for every single day of college basketball action here for the rest of the year. It's a great time to be in the mix, and especially with baseball on the horizon, is a fantastic time to dive in. Over at stumpthespread.com, not only will you be able to see those those premium picks, but you can check out our all the great free stuff, guys. There are free picks every single day under the free picks tab. You also got to get in on those free emails, guys. Big write-ups, big parlays, all kinds of great information in those emails about the NCAA tournament. Also instructions in there on how to sign up for our massive bracket contest. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. Massive write-ups also on golf, NASCAR, tennis, WNBA, UFC, all the niche sports coming out. Lots of big write-ups in those emails. And the golf write-ups have been absolutely cash over the the entire beginning, the first month plus of the PGA Tour season. So definitely get in on that email list. It's very easy to sign up. You just click you just go over to stumpthespread.com and set up a free account. They're going to ask for your name and your email address. That's it. You get one email straight to your inbox every single day with all that great sports betting information. Also, get over there to get down in the description of this video. That's where you can get in on that bracket challenge. We're giving away $100 to first place. It's $200 to first place if you happen to be a premium member at stumpthespread.com. Lots of premium pick packages included as prizes to the top 4 places as well. Stump the Spread merch, all kinds of great stuff there for everybody that takes part in that bracket competition. It's very easy. It's on ESPN. There's a link in the description of this video as well as the password. The password has also been on the screen here. I believe it's Stump 2026 with a capital S. That will get you into that bracket challenge. Everybody's going to be in it, guys. Get in the mix on that. Over at stumpthespread.com, you can also pick up a Stump the Spread hoodie. We're selling them right now at cost, $39.99. So pick up one of those if you're interested. They're pretty nice hoodies, and free shipping is included. Also, if you're a massive fan of what you're seeing from me here every single day, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos. They get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe most importantly, they get access to our members only giveaways. And the way those work, you're about to see it live on this video. We put the name of every single YouTube channel member on a big wheel, just like you're seeing right now. We spin this wheel live on the video, and whoever it lands on gets a Stump the Spread hoodie mailed straight to their address of choice. It looks like this week's Thursday winner, because we do 2 of these giveaways every week, is going to be Dante Brown. Dante Brown, get down there in the comments. Let us know that you see that you've won this giveaway here for Thursday. Very, very stoked to be doing these giveaways twice a week now. Big shout out to all the YouTube channel members, guys. Really appreciate all of you. Appreciate everybody watching these videos. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're getting over to stumpthespread.com, and make sure you are getting in on that bracket challenge. And now, guys, let's go ahead and get back after it. Let's dive back in. Next up, we're looking at the High Point Panthers taking on the Wisconsin Badgers. High Point ended the year with 30 wins. They were 30-4, 15-1 there in the Big South. They took care of business in the conference tournament as well, winning 91-76 in the championship game over Winthrop. So everything pointed in the right direction right now for the High Point Panthers. Terry Anderson's been very good this year. 16 points per game, 57% from the field. This team didn't really have a ton of crazy success in the non-conference and weren't really that tested. This is going to be by far the toughest basketball team they have seen this season. And the fact that you're 5th in the nation scoring 90 points a game might be a little bit tested here against Wisconsin. The Badgers, 24-10 on the season, 14-6 in the Big Ten. They ended the year as the number 19 team in the nation. They got knocked out of the conference tournament there by Michigan in a crazy game. They do end up losing by 3, but man, that was an absolute thriller. So we'll see what they can do, see if they can make a run here in the tournament. This is a team that I projected very highly coming into this NCAA tournament. Nick Boyd's had an amazing season. This has been an elite level offensive team. The rebounding isn't top tier, and their defense might have some problems, but they can outscore pretty much anyone. Will they be able to outscore High Point in this one? Well, I definitely think there's a chance. The Badgers are 10.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 163.5. High Point went 15-1 against the spread, 20-11 to the over. Wisconsin, 20-14 against the spread, 21-13 to the over themselves. I like pretty much any overplay that has to do with Wisconsin or with this game. So take the Badgers team total over potentially, or just take over 163.5. Both those plays seem extremely good to me. I also don't mind Wisconsin here at minus 10.5. I think they are by far the better team. This game is being played in Portland, Oregon, so not a huge spot for either team necessarily, but being up north maybe will be nice for Wisconsin. Maybe that'll be kind of okay. So I will be taking the Badgers here and definitely look at that over. Next on the day, guys, we've got a lot of games to get through, so it's going to be rapid fire. We've got the number 16 Siena Saints against the number 1 Duke Blue Devils. Siena, 23-11 on the season. They actually finished the regular season third in the MAAC, but then went nuts in the conference tournament. Some close games in there for sure, but they do win out there in the end. In terms of their non-conference schedule, nothing too exciting. I mean, getting blown out at Indiana, for example, doesn't really move the needle too much for me. This team has a monster in Gavin Dottie, I guess, but we'll see what he can do against some better competition. 340th in the nation in raw scoring, giving up 65.5 points per game, shows they do play some defense, but I do worry a lot about the Siena Saints here. They're going to be drastically outclassed. Obviously, Ngongba is going to be out for this one for the Blue Devils, but I don't think it's going to matter in this matchup. They ran roughshod through the ACC tournament before coming up against Virginia in a game they could have lost, but obviously this has been one of the best teams in the nation this year. I'm not going to go too in-depth about this one. Duke is good. They're not a crazy strong offensive team all the time, but their rebounding and defense are absolutely top tier. Duke is 28.5 point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 135.5. Siena 20-14 against the spread this year, 23-11 to the under. Duke 19-15 against the spread, 22-12 to the under. Guys, we're definitely interested in under 135.5 in this game. I don't think we're going to see a crazy high scoring one here. Duke is banged up. They can't afford to lose either one of the boozers, if we're being honest, but definitely not Cameron Boozer. So I think we see them get up early. I think they win this game by around 20 points. I think it's relatively low scoring. So definitely take a look at the under. And I also think Siena here getting nearly 30 points is very reasonable. I don't think Duke's going to be wasting any effort here trying to score some crazy 40-point blowout. Rolling right along, we got the 12 versus 5 matchup between the McNeese Cowboys and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Now, McNeese didn't have the smoothest sailing out there in the Southland this year, losing 3 games, but they take care of business in the conference tournament, take down SFA, and get the pretty comfortable fashion, if we're being honest, and get this NCAA tournament bid. In their non-conference, they did play some real teams, but got obliterated by Michigan. They did beat Murray State, I guess. They beat George Washington, but not exactly looking great against some top-tier competition. Larry Johnson's had a good year, 17 points, 50% from the field. That's great. They're in the top 100 in the nation in scoring, but their rebounding is terrible. They've really depended pretty heavily on their defense, and that defense is about to be severely tested here as they take on Vanderbilt. The Commodores were the number 16 team in the nation coming into this tournament. They end up snagging a 5 seed. Is that fair? Is that not fair? We'll have to see. 11-7 in conference play. They got bounced from their conference tournament by Arkansas, but they've been amazing this year. They knocked off Florida. They've knocked off Tennessee twice. They've had very good showings against elite teams basically all year long. Tyler Taylor's looking like an absolute monster. He's not a huge guy out there on the floor, but that has not mattered. This team is one of the best in the nation in putting it in the basket. Their defense isn't incredible, but it's okay given their pace of play. And the rebounding, maybe that'll take care of itself here against a McNeese team that isn't great on the boards either. The Commodores are 11.5 point favorites in this one. We've got a total of 150.5. McNeese 13-16-1 against the spread, 16-14 to the under. Vanderbilt 18-16 against the spread, and they're a 500 over/under team. 11.5 feels like a little bit much. This McNeese team this program is used to being in the tournament, but Vanderbilt feels like by far the better team to me. They like to get up and down. I think they're going to get a blowout win in this one against a McNeese team that's being overvalued. Rolling right along here, guys, we are looking at the North Dakota State Bison taking on the Michigan State Spartans. Now, this one's being played in Buffalo, New York as well. This is the East region, so being up north for both these teams should have them feeling pretty comfortable. North Dakota State, they came out on top there in the Summit in the regular season and in the conference tournament. Played some close-ish games, I suppose, in the conference tournament, but really looked like the best team in the conference. We've loved what we've seen from this squad, defensively at least. Offensively, 82nd in the nation isn't terrible. They don't really have a monster leading scorer. I mean, Damari Wheeler-Thomas, 14 points per game on 40% from the field isn't great. They're okay on the boards. I do have some serious questions about how they're going to fare against an elite team like Michigan State. The Spartans went 15-5 in the Big Ten. They knocked off some very good teams along the way. Did lose their last 2 games of the season, though, losing to Michigan and to UCLA. So they're in a bit of a bounce back spot. They were in the top 40 in the nation rebounding. They're a decent offensive team. Their defensive numbers were excellent. Jeremy Fears Jr. has been a monster pretty much all year long, so a lot to like here about Michigan State. They are 16.5 point favorites, though. We've got a total of 143.5. North Dakota State went 19-13 against the spread, 17-13-2 to the over. Michigan State, a 500 against the spread team and a slight under team. I do think the Spartans win this game, but I think it could be something of a scare game. Give me North Dakota State. Give me the Bison here getting those 16.5 points. Do I think Tom Izzo's going to let his squad get knocked off here in the opening round? I don't, but I do think the Bison can keep this thing to single digits. Would not be out of the question for me. Next on the docket, guys, we've got the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors taking on the Arkansas Razorbacks in the 13 versus 4 matchup. Now, Hawaii, they went 24-8 in the regular season, 14-6 in the Big West. They knock off UC Irvine 71-64 to advance here and or to win their conference tournament and get into the the big dance. This team, obviously, they have a very unique home court advantage getting to play their games in Hawaii. They've been good defensively, very good on the boards. Do they have what it takes to compete against big-name teams? Well, they lost to Oregon in the regular season. They lost to Arizona State in the regular season. They barely beat UTEP, so I do have serious question marks about what the Rainbow Warriors can do here against one of the most dynamic teams and dynamic players in the nation in the Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas, they almost said they got knocked out. They knocked Vanderbilt out in the championship game there in the SEC to come out on top. Crazy. I can't remember how long it's been since they've won the SEC tournament, but it was nuts. Darius Acuff Jr. is one of the most dynamic scoring guards in the entire nation, one of the most dynamic players in the nation in general. The numbers he's put up this season are cartoonishly good. Obviously, the numbers that Arkansas put up have been insane. 6th in the nation in scoring. Maybe not a dominant rebounding team, but they've played an incredibly tough schedule and came out looking very, very good. So I'm not shocked to see them be huge favorites. They're 15.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 159.5. Hawaii is only 13-17 against the spread this year, and they're a significant under team. Arkansas 22-12 against the spread, 19-15 to the over. I maybe not 1,000,000,000% sold on this one, and this is going to be maybe the chalkiest of chalky picks, but I do actually think Arkansas could cover this number. I think they could win this game by 20 plus. Hawaii, not really built for this kind of competition, it doesn't feel like to me, and the Razorbacks and Darius Acuff Jr. should absolutely go bonkers in this one. This game is being played in Portland, Oregon. I mean, at least it is West Coast. That helps Hawaii out a little bit, but I think Arkansas is definitely the one you want. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the VCU Rams taking on the UNC Tar Heels. This is a 11 versus 6 matchup. Now, VCU 27-7 on the year, 15-3 out there in the A10. They actually come out on top in the A10 tournament, taking out a red-hot Dayton team. They beat Dayton twice in 4 games down the stretch and 3 times in the season overall. So clearly the better team in that one. Over the course of the year, VCU ended up 66th in the nation total scoring. They're a decent rebounding team, a solid defensive squad. Terrence Hill Jr., a reasonable leading scorer and a good point guard. They did some good stuff there in the non-conference, knocking off Virginia Tech, knocking off USF, playing a very competitive game against NC State, almost knocking off Utah State. Like, this team is very, very much for real. They are not going to be too, shocked by what they're going to run into here against North Carolina. The Tar Heels, they are a banged-up team, not at 100%. 12-6 in the ACC tournament. Obviously, going to be missing Caleb Wilson here. That was pretty much a huge bummer. He ends up breaking his other thumb once on his way to coming back to being able to play in the ACC and NCAA tournaments. North Carolina lost their last 2 in a row, losing by 15 against Duke in their regular season finale, and then losing by 1 to Clemson there in the in the ACC tournament. So we'll see what they can come up with. They're going to need Henry Visar to have a monster performance out there, but I am definitely worried about the Tar Heels, and so are the odds makers. UNC only 2.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 152.5. VCU 17-17 against the spread this year, 19-15 to the under. UNC 19-13 against the spread, also 19-13 to the under. Better than the side in this game, I'm going to be leaning towards under 152.5. Both these teams can definitely play some very, very real defense. It would be on par for these two teams to have a total of around 140, 145. So I do like the under here. In terms of a side, I'm going to lean slightly towards VCU and the points just because North Carolina is banged up and the Rams have been playing great, but really, the best play on this one's going to be that under. Next up, guys, we've got the 16 versus 1 matchup between the Howard Bison and the Michigan Wolverines. Howard, 24-10 on the season. They already knocked off UMBC to earn the right in that, that 16 versus 16 matchup to earn the right to face Michigan in this one. They ended up winning the MEAC. Very well played. Won it in the regular season, won it in the conference tournament. Bryce Harris has put up good numbers for them this season, but these are not exactly elite season-long numbers from the Bison. I mean, 150th in the nation scoring, 140th in rebounding, giving up 68.2 points per game. That was a pretty good look. Unfortunately, they had a really bad time in the non-conference, getting obliterated by teams like Mizzou and Duke. So we'll see what they can do here against a top-tier opponent in Michigan. The Wolverines ran roughshod over the Big Ten in the regular season. They did get bounced by Purdue there in the tournament, but overall, they've looked amazing this year, no doubt about that. 33rd in the nation rebounding, 14th in total scoring. They're a dominant defensive team as well. a lot to like here about the Wolverines. Now, my one concern in this one is, Michigan, they're 31.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 151.5. Howard, 21-8-1 against the spread this year. One of the best against the spread teams in the nation. 17-13 to the under. Michigan, 15-19 against the spread. 21-13 to the under. Both teams are showing trends towards the under here. And we've got a team getting 31.5 points. I got to take the points. It doesn't feel great. You could also take the under, take under 151.5. I've got no problem with that, but I'll be leaning towards Howard getting almost 32 points in this game. It's just too much to me. It's just a little bit crazy. I think the Bison, have enough pride to make this a semi-real game, and I think Michigan has their eyes on the prize. Probably not their eyes on winning a basketball game by 40 points. Rolling right along, guys, we got the number 11 Texas Longhorns taking on the number 6 BYU Cougars. Texas, they took down NC State in a 68-66 low-scoring thriller of a game. A very, very clutch bucket late there for the Longhorns kind of sealed things. Texas had an insanely up and down season out there in the SEC, 9-9 in conference play. They actually lost 3 straight coming into this, into the NCAA tournament. So they were a controversial pick, but they do hold off NC State there to advance. This is a very talented offensive team, 36th in the nation in raw scoring, decent defensively, decent on the boards. Dalen Swain is a monster. So a lot of things point in the right direction for Texas. We'll see what they can do here against BYU. The Cougars, they had a rough year as well. Plenty of injuries mounting. They went 9-9 in Big 12 play. They've relied extremely heavily on A.J. Debonsa, who should, be the best player on the floor in this game. You would think he's going to be a very high pick there in the NBA draft. They're coming off a tough loss, albeit a competitive one against Houston. So, things not necessarily pointed in a terrible direction there for BYU, but obviously they're not exactly where they were wanting to be. This is a squad that certainly aspired to be a top seed in the NCAA tournament. The Cougars are 2.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 157.5. Texas 17-15 against the spread, 19-13 to the over. BYU 16-18 against the spread, and they're a 500 over/under team. I actually don't think this is a crazy spot to back the over. I think we're going to see a bounce back game offensively there from Texas and plenty of offense there from BYU. So maybe a little lean towards the over, but in terms of a side, I am going to be leaning towards BYU at -2.5. I'm just not that sold on Texas. You're not going to have the best player on the floor. I think BYU can lock in on defense now that they're going to really need to. And I think A.J. Debonsa is going to find a way to help his team win this game by at least 3. Rolling right along here, guys, we got the number 10 Texas A&M Aggies taking on the number 7 St. Mary's Gales. Texas A&M 21-11 on the season. They went 11-7 there in SEC play. They come into this game fresh off a blowout loss there against Oklahoma, so that's not a great look. They beat Kentucky. They barely beat LSU, so not exactly the hottest squad. Now, their offense numbers have been phenomenal all year long, but they don't play much defense, and their rebounding is not exactly top tier, but they obviously played through a very tough schedule there in the SEC. They put up some decent wins. They beat Texas. They beat Oklahoma. They beat Auburn, but in terms of wins against absolutely top tier competition, still a little bit lacking. So we'll see what they can do here against the St. Mary's Gales, who at 27-5 on the year finished the season tied there atop the WCC with Gonzaga. They did lose to SCU there to Santa Clara in the the conference tournament. So we'll see what they can do here against some other high tier competition. They did beat Wichita State and Virginia Tech in the non-conference, but got blown out by Vanderbilt. They also lost to Boise State. So this team has had its share of problems. They're elite on the boards and elite defensively, but keep in mind where most of those numbers came from there out in the WCC. St. Mary's, they're 3.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 147.5. Texas A&M 18-14 against the spread, 19-13 to the over. St. Mary's 19-12 against the spread, 17-14 to the under. I'm going to be leaning towards Texas A&M and the points in this one. I think they're very, very live to win this game straight up. I don't have much of a lean here on the total, but I think the athletes that the Aggies can throw at St. Mary's are going to cause them the same kind of problems that they had against teams like Gonzaga. Although they did beat Gonzaga once this season, they also lost to them once, and similar problems to what they had against Santa Clara. So we'll see what goes on in this one, but I definitely think Texas A&M is the side you want. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the number 14 Pennsylvania Quakers taking on the number 3 Illinois Fighting Illini. Pennsylvania came out on top there in the Ivy. Despite the fact they were in third place there in the regular season, they run roughshod through the tournament. They actually won their last 5 games in a row, took down Harvard, took down Yale in an absolute thriller. This team is looking pretty impressive to me. They didn't do anything that crazy in the non-conference necessarily, but that's so long ago. We're not going to freak out too much. They did play a 1-point game against Rutgers, so I'll give them a little bit of credit for that. Played a 4-point game against George Mason, so they've put up some real games against some real opponents. This is a team full of geniuses, guys. We'll see see what they can do out there in now going to be in the NCAA tournament. Their season-long numbers kind of irrelevant given who they've been facing, but some competitive games against some reasonable opponents early in the year should give them a little bit of hope. They're taking on the Illinois Fighting Illini, who are a 3 seed. They come into this game 15-5 in conference play, fresh off a 91-88 barn burner of a loss there against Wisconsin. They've played okay down the stretch. Losses to Wisconsin, Michigan, and UCLA are not terrible necessarily, but they've also played a slew of fairly close games, even against some mediocre teams like Washington or Maryland. So we'll see what they can do in this one. This has been a great team over the course of the year. They've had some big wins, knocking off some big-name teams. They're in the top 25 in basically every major category, and Keaton Wagler has been a monster. All that being said, Illinois, they are 25.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 151.5. Pennsylvania went 20-8 against the spread this year, 27-1 to the under. Illinois 18-14 against the spread, also 18-14 to the under. I'm interested in the under in this game. Sure, I don't think that's a terrible play, but much better than that, guys. I'll be taking Pennsylvania here, plus 25.5. Do I think they win this game? No. Do I think they could pull a huge, crazy upset here and make this like a single-digit game down the stretch? I don't think it's impossible. I think these geniuses here in the Ivy League usually have a way of surprising their opponent here in the opening round or two, and whether or not they can get out of the first round, that seems pretty wild to me, but I do think they have what it takes to cover 25.5 points. Next up, guys, we got the St. Louis Billikens taking on the Georgia Bulldogs in a 9 versus 8 matchup. These 9 versus 8 games are barn burners, guys. The Billikens 28-5 on the season, 15-3 in A10 play. They got bounced from their conference tournament in a 1-point game there against Dayton. That was absolutely nuts. The Billikens, over the course of the year, didn't exactly play the toughest schedule. And by didn't exactly play the toughest schedule, I mean they played a pretty goddamn weak schedule. But they do enough to get into the tournament here. 12th in the nation scoring, 34th in total rebounding, and decent defensively. But their games down the stretch have left me confused and befuddled. They lost to Dayton, obviously, by 1. They beat George Washington, a game they definitely should have lost. They were down by like 20-something early in that game. Lost to George Mason in a blowout. Barely beat Loyola Chicago. They're just not playing their best ball at the right time. They're going to have to figure something out here against the Georgia Bulldogs, who went 10-8 there in the SEC. They got bounced out of the conference tournament by that weirdly resurgent Ole Miss team, but they had won 3 straight before that, including an upset win over Alabama. They played a very close game against Vanderbilt, knocked off Texas, knocked off Kentucky. They've been playing pretty well. This is one of the most dynamic offensive teams in the nation, 7th in the nation raw scoring. Not necessarily a transcendent defensive team, but good enough on the boards and good enough offensively to scare pretty much anyone. Jeremiah Wilkinson might be the best player on the floor in this game, and the Bulldogs are 2.5-point favorites. We've got a total here of 169.5. This game is being played out there in Greenville, South Carolina. Oh, wait, no, this is the Buffalo, New York game. So that does worry me a little bit. Georgia playing up there in Buffalo, but I'm still, I don't know, guys. They're 2.5-point favorites, total 169.5. St. Louis 18-12-2 against the spread and a 500 over-under team. Georgia 15-16-1 against the spread and a slight over team. Give me Georgia. I think their dynamic athletes and their dynamic offense are going to be too much for a Billikens team that really has not impressed me here at all down the stretch, and I definitely think Georgia's in a great spot in this one. Rounding into the home stretch, guys, we're looking at the number 14 Kennesaw State Owls taking on the number 3 Gonzaga Bulldogs. Kennesaw State 21-13 on the season. Despite going 10-10 there in conference play in the Conference USA, they run roughshod through the tournament, win the games they have to win, taking on Western Kentucky, Sam Houston, and Louisiana Tech to get this automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. Now, when you look at their season-long numbers, it's a little bit shocking that they weren't doing having a better time out there in the Conference USA. 34th in the nation in scoring, 25th in rebounding. Not a great defensive team necessarily, but definitely looked like they should have been able to find more consistency there in their conference schedule. But that wasn't really the case, so we'll see what they can do here in a massive test against Gonzaga. The Bulldogs, 30-3 on the season, 16-2 in the WCC. They take care of business there, winning the WCC championship in the tournament. So things looking good there for the Zags. 20th in the nation raw scoring, giving up 66 per game. Graham Ike, nearly 20 per game, shooting 58% from the field. This is a team built with pretty much one thing in mind, and that is to dominate the NCAA tournament. And the odds makers think they're going to do that. They're 21.5-point favorites. We've got a total here of 154.5. Kennesaw State 14-16-1 against the spread, and they're a slight under team. Gonzaga 18-15 against the spread, 23-10 to the under. So maybe just given those trends, you can consider the under. I don't think that's insane, but in terms of a side, this is one of those spots where I am more than happy to, I think it's going to be a blowout. I think Gonzaga is going to win this one walking away. 21.5 is a lot of points, so this probably won't make the pinned comment, but definitely think the Bulldogs are in great shape in this game. Last but not least, here on a loaded Thursday, we've got the Idaho Vandals, the number 15 seed, taking on the number 2 seed Houston Cougars. Idaho went 9-9 out there in the Big Sky, but turned it on in the conference tournament and at the end of the year, winning their last 5 in a row, knocking off Montana pretty comfortably to make their way into the big dance. They didn't play a crazy schedule there in the non-conference. They lost in kind of a blowout there against Notre Dame. They did knock off Washington State, but overall, this team has not been tested that much against elite competition. They're not a dominant offensive team. Their rebounding numbers are fine, but they don't really have a crazy amount of just, shot getters, shot makers, shot takers on this roster. Now, Houston, on the other hand, has been an insane team this season. 28-6 on the year, 14-4 in the Big 12. They've lost some heartbreakers mixed in there too. They've played well down the stretch, barely got edged there by Arizona, losing 79-74. They had won 5 in a row before that, including knocking off Kansas and BYU. So we'll see what they can do. This Houston team plays their trademark suffocating defense, one of the best defensive teams in the nation. Their offensive numbers are fine. Kingston Flemings has been great this season. Their rebounding rate is very good. I don't have a lot of bad stuff to say about Houston. They are 23.5 point favorites. We got a total of 137.5. Idaho went 16-16 against the spread, 18-14 to the under. Houston went 16-18 against the spread, 20-14 to the under themselves. You could take under in this game, but one of the main reasons I think you should take the under is because I feel like Idaho might have trouble breaking 40 in this game. I think Houston's going to absolutely go nuts in this one. I think they're going to get the blowout win and cover. So you can take the under, like I said, but Houston minus 23.5 seems A-okay to me. This squad is going to be pretty hard to shake here in tournament action. Guys, that's all the games we have here for Thursday. Make sure you're hitting that like button for good luck on all of your bets and to help support me and this channel and everything we're doing. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, or if you have somebody that you know that likes these this type of video or this type of content, or just is into sports betting. Share this video with them out there. Get down there in the comments with any questions you have about your bracket, about any of these picks that you're looking at. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description or in the pinned comment to get over to stumpthespread.com. This is one of the best times of the year to be in the mix as a premium member, so definitely don't miss out on that. And we'll see you guys right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.